This is WZRD Chicago 88.3 FM. And we have with us at WZRD via Zoom Russell Norman. He is a DJ, activist, and also a urban trauma activist. Am I correct? And welcome, Russell.
Thank you. Thank you for having me. I appreciate it. Yes, I'm a DJ, a musician, and a
Could you
filmmaker.
start again? Did I hit the wrong level?
Okay, you can hear me? Am I good?
Yes, yes.
Okay, yes. Thank you for having me. My name is Russell Norman. I'm a musician and a filmmaker, and of course, activist for good causes all around the city of Chicago. Thank you.
Thank you. First of all, how does your filmmaking tie in with your activism?
Well, quite simply, um, the stories that I tell are sort of based in that lore of the community and sort of fighting oppression, the powers that be, stories about people overcoming poverty and, things of that nature. So it all ties in because it's all part of the struggle, so to speak.
Mhm. Could you tell us about your recent films? Do you hire the people that you are talking about? You need actors. How do you go about your filmmaking?
Yes, right now I'm producing a film that I wrote. I can't say the title, but it's coming soon this fall. But the actors, I'm a stage, film, and commercial actor. I have a lot of friends and associates who are part of the craft. And I asked them, some decline, some, accept, and it's hard. I remember a old saying, um, I think it said a general needs an army. No, no, how does it go? Um, an artist needs a paintbrush, but a filmmaker needs an army. I think that's the saying. And it just shows it's a lot of moving parts, it's a lot of people involved, but I'm trying to do these independent films, and that's even harder when you're doing it on your own. And then if you're trying to tie a message into it, because everybody doesn't have a message with the social advocacy in their films, I try to do that, but then it's even 10 times harder.
Mhm. Um, who or what is giving you this maybe pushback once you try to add advocacy to your films?
Well, the first thing would be the perception of the audience. Some audiences may not want to see that. And then there's the perception that audiences don't want to see it at all, which isn't true. They have a lot of different stereotypes with urban films or independent films, especially coming from, the African American community. So the whole perception or the assumption would be people don't want to see these films or they won't do well. And then you have people, as in music, they won't support it if it's not total ignorance and nonsense. So a lot of ignorance and nonsense in the entertainment field, it's the product that's promoted mostly. The ignorance is promoted mostly.
Once you try to find solutions via your films, such as if you're going to address an issue and you're going to try to find a solution, um, who are the people who say that those will the that kind of film would not sell? Is it the mainstream? Is it the fellow community members? Who are the ones that say that that kind of film won't sell?
I, I would say it is the mainstream. The mainstream, when we talk about Hollywood box office and we talk about revenue, And, you have films that are like a comic book film, like Deadpool versus Wolverine, making $1 billion. And then you have a young independent filmmaker whose film may not see the light of day. So it is the mainstream as far as the studios and producers, people who can get these films funded. They may not get funded if there's not a huge upside for the box office.
Mhm. Are there any of your fellow filmmakers that you could maybe collaborate with to create these films?
Yes, and I do. Yes, but right now it's me. I'm the driving force. I'm the one who's aspiring for that change. And unfortunately, this, like any other industry, can be cutthroat. A lot of crab in the bucket mentality, meaning people will pull you down. They're not really there to help you. It's the Hollywood way, the American way. People smile in your face, stab you in the back. They take your ideas. They put roadblocks in front of you. So that's the reality of it, especially when trying to put out music or films.
Mhm. We were at the DNC recently, and we spoke with a young filmmaker from Culver City, California, I think, and then he was inspired by Oscar Michaud, uh, a black filmmaker that made about 40 films between the 1920s and the 1940s when there were, there it was a hard time for black filmmaking. So he's doing a film festival. So we'll maybe try to get you in touch with him and then maybe see what you could do.
Please do. And yes, Oscar Michaud is a pioneer, a Black pioneer in filmmaking, no matter what color. And Oscar Michaud did great things. And he's also an inspiration to me, too.
Mhm.
Someone who's also an inspiration for me was Spike Lee because he produced, he wrote, and directed his own films. Now, I need to mention that sometimes people, as they say, necessity is the mother of invention. So some people, they don't want to write, produce, and direct their own films, but if they want to get it out there, they have to. So that's when you get people, they're doing the editing, the writing, the catering, the production, they doing everything because they have to, because it may not be anybody that can help them see their vision. So Spike Lee was definitely one of those inspirations for me.
Mhm. Well, how did Spike Lee begin? Is there any lesson that you could learn from him? Because uh, it should be that he might have faced the same challenges as you are facing in the beginning.
Well, yes, he definitely did. He started out doing short films like me. He was a New York film school student. Um, Unlike myself, I didn't go to film school, so those challenges are multiplied. But he started out doing it himself, and he had some success. But no matter what, just like one of the most riveting of all his films, Malcolm X, he had budgeting issues. The story of that, he had to call on some friends in the industries like Michael Jordan, Oprah Winfrey, um, who else? Janet Jackson was one of them. So they helped him get his film produced. And this is even after he gained notoriety. After Do the Right Thing, Mo Better Blues, She's Gotta Have It, School Days. He was an accomplished director and he still couldn't get that film produced. So there's that. There's always that side of it.
Is it on account of race, do you see, or is it just on account of mainstream figuring out that what is more profitable?
Well, it's both because this is America, and this was about a rebellious Muslim a rebellious black Muslim in Harlem. So yeah, that film getting produced, it could have had its roadblocks based on race, but any filmmaker, no matter what color, it could have been a young filmmaker in China or Russia or Africa. And it didn't have to be a controversial subject, topic, or person. And getting a film produced would still be hard. It would still be very difficult, no matter what it is, to do something of that magnitude.
You also are a DJ. And then how did you start getting involved in films? What did you hope to accomplish?
Well, I started off in music, and that was me being a showman, and that turned into some aspiring people I was with, deciding to do showcases like open mics and things like that, and that turned into we have to film it. So I had an eye for film, just being a film lover myself. So I know how to hold a camera, and I know you know, um, the basic instructions, when it comes to filming and, lighting and just your subject and things like that. Back when I was 19 and 20, and then that just morphed into me holding the camera, filming performers, and then so on and so on. I was around people who were doing their own films. They were writing their own films. They were being independent. Like I said, Spike Lee was an inspiration. A friend of mine, my brother B. Cole, a comedian who wrote and produced his first film in 2000, and called I'm in Love with a Crackhead, one of his comedy bits. And that turned into something bigger. And then I got the bug. And then I just decided to write my own film and produce it. It was a short film called Hell Ain't Full. And I did that with Mark Pratt, Larry Smith, and Linda Bright Clay. And then I ended up winning a film an award for most outstanding film for that. So straight out the gate, when I made my debut, I was relatively successful because they awarded me an award for that film.
Congratulations. Is that the film
Thank
still
you.
available for our listeners to view if they want to learn more about you?
Yeah, I rather not.
Ah,
It was so long ago, but it's on YouTube right now. You can find it. It's a 30-minute film. It's called Hell Ain't Full. Like hell is not full,
uh-huh.
but it's called Hell Ain't Full, and it's about two scallywags in the neighborhood doing bad, doing crime, and then it backfires on them in the end, like most people in real life. So, yeah, so that's what the film is about. And some people saw it and they recognized talent, and I'm so glad they did because it was one of my best, if not the best things that ever happened to me.
Mhm. When you started, who was mentoring you? Who was teaching you the ropes, showing you how to work the camera? Your brother and yes, or and who else?
Well, yes. The man who gave me my first camera and helped me was a Columbia College grad. His name is Mark Pratt, and he was tremendous. He helped me produce, and he was my director of photography on my first film. And he gave me my first camera, and he taught me how to edit. So we sat down and edited the film, and I just took all of that and just kept going. Like I said, I had wonderful mentors such as him. Another one was Jim White, James White, and we worked together on Find a Dream. And he let me assist him in producing that. I was his assistant. Uh, and that won an Emmy Award for Best Documentary of the Year. So I've had the pleasure of being on award-winning projects with myself and others, and I can't forget the legendary Sam Greenlee, the novelist who wrote the book The Spook Who Sat by the Door. He was also a mentor of mine, and he taught me a lot of things. And one of them was, if you want to be a hoe, go to Hollywood. So I learned a lot from those three men, Mark Pratt, James White, and the late, great Sam Greenlee.
Mhm. Did you go to Hollywood to explore and learn?
No, I don't want to be a hoe. So I decided I'm gonna stay in Chicago and realize my vision here. I used to live out in Los Angeles and Compton or Carson, California, Compton adjacent. And I've seen a lot. I have a brother who lives out there and who does stand-up comedy and does movies, but Hollywood isn't knocking on my door. So I'm gonna keep producing my films until, I get a leg up. You know how that is. You just got to keep going at it until you get that big break. If that big break ever comes, but if it doesn't, I'm fine with that too.
What is the Chicago filmmaking scene like now?
It's expanding. It's a lot of talented filmmakers and more here. People are migrating here. There's so many projects that are coming out of Chicago. I remember one of the big things was Batman. Batman being in Chicago, and I think once Batman was filmed in Chicago, it it's a wrap. Everything else follows. So you have huge blockbusters being shot here every winter, every summer. So it's expanding by the day. Sorry about that.
Okay.
Sorry about
Also, what are the themes? What are the issues that you are trying to address, and uh, how are you doing it?
Hey, can you hear me? I'm here.
Yes, yes. Yeah. My question was, what are the issues that you are trying to address in your film, and uh, just give us a little description of how you are going about it.
Okay, well, this next film that I'm doing, it's about the trials and tribulations during COVID-19. And it's taking place in 2021, and that runs the gamut. You have mental health, you have a worldwide pandemic, you have poverty, you have police brutality, you have social justice, and right there, everything that those topics entails, it can that can be a pretty entertaining and informative film. So those are what I'm addressing. I'm basically pointing out some of the hypocrisy during COVID-19, some of the hidden truths that people still don't know to this day. And can I curse?
Try not to. There are, I
No,
think,
I'm just, okay. I'm just kidding. You know what I was gonna say.
yeah, I'm not, we have a little new setup over here. I'm not
Oh
sure where
no,
the
I'm I'm
stop
just
button
I'm
is.
just kidding. Yeah, I'm just kidding. But it starts with bull and it rhymes with pit.
Mhm.
So you got a lot of that when it comes to, the things the government told us, the way people reacted, the way people lost their mind. And I'm sort of using that to address some different things, but that's basically what the story is based on.
Mhm.
Mhm.
When you find people to help you on the films, where do you draw them from? People in the filmmaking circle, or do you try to go into the community too?
Well, I do both, but you have to. find the talent where the talent is. So I have beautiful people working with me, like one lady, Margot Gatson Harper. Um, she's a wonderful actress, stage and film, and we work together on a stage play, Through Their Eyes, directed by Raymond Good. And you get people from projects you worked on. You're always adjacent to talent if you're in the talent pool. So you might know somebody or somebody that knows somebody. So that's how I do it. I only mess with people who worked with before, mainly because then I know what I'm dealing with.
Okay, Russell, tell us a little bit about anything that is happening soon that our listeners might want to visit or take part in, and give us your contact information if our listeners would want to learn more about you.
Okay, well, first of all, I'd like to thank you and Mark Armstrong from the Deep South Press Corps. He did a lot of great coverage during the DNC. He's a esteemed writer and journalist, and he covered the Democratic National Convention here in Chicago. And he passed on some of that to me, and I actually covered it as a content creator. You can follow me at Russell Norman 77 on all social media. That's RUSSELLNORMAN 77. And I just released the album. It's called I'm God. It's an acronym. I am God, and it stands for I maintain God over devils. You can find that on all platforms, Spotify, Apple Music. It's called I'm God by Russell Norman, aka DJ Soul. So I have the film coming soon, and just overall focusing on getting that film produced and more content. I shoot music videos and documentaries, so people they can check me out at that social media, Russell Norman 77. I'm available for hire. I charge $1 million a video.
And also, when you were covering the DNC, did you get a credential for as a content creator?
Yes, I did. I was fortunate enough to get that. I didn't get total access, but the access I did get, I used it wisely. And I actually was at the McCormick place and I saw how it laid out. I didn't get deep into it because I was just covering it as a content creator, as a journalist. I interviewed Miss Zoe Lee and how her family they were a victim of the Chicago's eminent domain laws, and they took her family's property and business at the Sandpiper Lounge. So I interviewed her. I was on site. And as far as politics and this election, I think it's all fake. And it's disgusting what's going on in this country. And politics is only dividing us even more. And I know people can see it because it's obvious. So I'm sort of getting away from the political thing as far as, stories I cover and that perspective because it's all fake. To me. That's my opinion. It's all fake to me. What do you think? How about you? What do you feel? I can't hear you. Can you hear me?
Yes, I was taking a question from a listener, and I did
Okay.
not. Sorry about not being able to hear your
No.
entire answer. However,
Okay.
the listener was asking if what would be your ultimate dream project that you would want to work on now.
You know what? If I had an ultimate dream project, I would probably want to work with Denzel Washington, um, Eddie Murphy, Angela Bassett, and a black superhero film. And in this film, these black superheroes, they take on City Hall. No, I'm just kidding. but I would just want to have a large budget and some talented people to work with, and any story would be a great story. So if a young filmmaker like me would be able to get a big budget, that would be my my optimum film dream.
Hmm. Hmm. Yeah,
If I could
working
get
with
50 million. I'm sorry, go ahead.
and then you'll be working with the legends and learning from them too.
I would. And you know what? I would love to work with some young soon to be or not yet legends too, because I don't have the credentials to get those people I just named, but I do believe in myself and I know I'm talented. So that probably will come one day if the Lord sees fit.
What was the question that you asked me earlier? Because I was on the phone and I'm sorry I wasn't able to concentrate on your
Well, I was
answer.
just asking, we were talking about the Deep South Press Corps and how I helped alongside at the DNC. And I was just wondering, what is your overall view of politics?
Oh, we just cover and try to bring the different sides out. Let the for when we cover as press, then we try to not uh input our views in it. We cover the different sides that want to talk with us and let our listeners and the public decide for themselves.
Yeah, that's what I did this week.
Mhm.
But I like that politically correct answer you just gave. Keeps you out of trouble, right? Don't let anybody know your true feelings.
You were actually for uh, journalistic integrity, we're supposed to remain neutral.
Yeah, I know. But you know what? I'm seeing something that's going on in this country that's pretty horrifying where we're going. And basically, besides just being a journalist, that's the activist side when you do speak out. So I'm guess I'm wearing many hats as far as I can cover something and be unbiased, but at the same time, I have real life morals and convictions and I'm vocal about it. So I do understand both sides.
Mm.
I do. And speaking of integrity, I like to just highlight some friends when it comes to social advocacy and activism.
Mm.
Dr. Kojo Opang and Dr. Asantawa Opang, and they do great work with Empress Menendez Chicago and the Indigo Nation Homeschool Association.
Mm.
Just wanted to highlight those individuals, Dr.
Thank you.
Kojo
Mm.
Opang and Dr. Asantawa Opang.
I think we might have another question, and then those individuals that you highlighted, then send us their contact information later, so we could do interviews with them. Hang on,
Okay, sure.
the caller just hung up, but I was going to pick up the call. He'll
Okay.
probably call back in a bit, but
Yep.
yeah, thank you. Let's see if he calls back.
Okay. They probably listening right now. Call back.
Exactly.
Okay.
When you were talking about those individuals, you have worked with them too, right?
Yes, we do great work on um, Dr. Opang Wadie's uh, organization, Empress Menendez Chicago. And that's a organization that highlights and supports Black women and women of color all around the world in the spirit of Empress Menen Asphalt. And that is Haile Selassie's, the Rastafarian Ethiopian emperor. That is his wife. And she did a lot of social advocacy and activism and charity around the world. Of course, she's gone now, as well as Haile Selassie, the emperor, but that's the emperor and the empress. And she started that organization to sort of build women up. It's so much going on with Black women and men, but Black women these days, you got police officers shooting Black women in the face. That's what's going on in America. So to have an organization that builds these women up, that educates them, that brings more to life than all of the negativity and the sensationalism, and digs deep to show the beauty of Black women, that's what that organization does. And she and her husband are great friends and they do great work in the community.
Mhm. In what way are they helping women? Is it only Black women?
No, it's women of color around the world, and it would be any woman who's interested. They do things in the community as far as supporting organizations, and this is time, money, blood, sweat, and tears. So they do a lot, but this organization is started by a Black woman and supported by a Black woman, so it just starts there. It's it's anybody who wants to be involved and who wants to sort of build up the community.
Mhm. So, in other words, if there were other women of color that need help in helping their community, either through their nonprofit or in some way, and they need some resources, then that organization would help them.
Yes, definitely. And it has helped countless women. Next spring will be the ninth annual year that we do this celebration. It's been 9 years strong. So we're looking forward to that. And what it is whoever needs this help, we provide it. We highlight different women in the community. We award them just to sort of build it up. I know you probably have a caller, I think, right?
Yeah, he just hung up as I was trying to. Oh, here he is.
Okay, okay. Let's get this call. Russell Norman 77 on Instagram, Facebook, Twitter, Russell Norman 77, YouTube, Swahili TV 100.
Okay. This caller asked for your position on the situation in Gaza.
Well, I think it's unfortunate. I think it's been going on for so long, and these days I'm cynical. When I see things that go on this long, I start to think they want it to happen. So with that, it's like the Democrats and the Republicans, the Crips and the Bloods, the Jews and the Muslims. It's a part of life. It's probably not gonna stop. I hope it stops, but I pray for everybody involved. And that's sort of how I leave it. I don't see any solution because I think it's part of the worldwide global problem that we have with war. These people, they are profiting from war, and they're probably profiting with this Gaza situation. So it's a lot of things that we aren't seeing in this situation. That's why it doesn't make sense to us because there's something missing.
Mhm. And when you
And
were, go ahead.
And I don't think anybody in Gaza cares about a Black man in Chicago. So I also want to point that out because I feel a lot of ways about a lot of different situations around the world, but I also know those people, they probably don't give a damn about me.
Mhm. When you were at the DNC, did you see any protesters outside? And if so, how far or near were they away from you?
I didn't see any protesters, but the lady that I interviewed, she did get arrested. She I interviewed her last Monday on the first day of the DNC,
Mm.
and I think by Friday or Saturday, actually Thursday, she missed the concert with Pink at the United Center because she was arrested for, let's say, being a rabble rouser or disorderly conduct because she was protesting. So I do know about that, but I didn't see anything when I was there.
Mhm. How did you know that she was arrested? Did she contact you?
Well, she sent me, either she sent it or I seen it on Instagram, her being arrested.
Mm, got it.
Yep. Hmm.
Okay. Russell Norman, a filmmaker, DJ, musician. Thank you so much for joining us on WZRD Chicago 88.3 FM today. Much luck to you
Thank
in your
you.
future work, and please send us the information about those various groups and individuals that you mentioned.
I will. Thank you, Queen. I appreciate this interview. Like to send one more shout out to Mark Armstrong and the Deep South Press Corps. And people, you can check me out online on YouTube at Swahili TV 100, Russell Norman 77 on all platforms, as well as my platform. It's called the Megaphone with Russell Norman. That's a podcast that I'm doing. It's called the Megaphone with Russell Norman, and I'm releasing the next episode with Dr. Carol Adams, and then after that, I have Fred Hampton, Chairman Fred Hampton Jr.,
Oh,
uh, son of Fred Hampton, the civil rights leader, the Black Panthers. So
mhm.
I got those two episodes coming up. So thank you for that.
Okay, and one more question. The Swahili
Mhm.
TV, is that the how do we access that?
Okay, so you can go to YouTube and just type in Swahili TV 100. That's Swahili, SWAHILI TV 100, or Russell Norman, AKA DJ Soul. You can find me online there.
Okay, thank you so much, Russell.
Okay, thank you. Have a great show.
Thank you.
Bye
You
bye.
too.